back to the time when I first started in this business, and I started going out to Immokalee when I was 18 years old, and I was just going out there buying, for my markets, and there was hundreds of farmers in Immokalee, Homestead, Boca Raton, all this South Florida subtropical area. There was hundreds and hundreds of farmers here. And now there's hardly any left. The only people that are left are people like myself that are vertically integrated, because there's honestly no money in the farming. And I don't want to be like the farmer crying poor mouth, because we don't take government subsidies. We don't lobby good enough to have subsidies for vegetable farmers in Florida. But I can tell you that in the last 12 years that I've farmed, I've only made money farming 2 different years in 12 years. The farm almost always loses every year. And it's at this scale that we've got to the 3,200 acres, people laugh when I tell them this, but I say I set up to where I hope to lose $2 million at the farm. If we can grow 3,200 acres and only lose $2 million, then that's a good year farming. Now, we're set up to be able to do that because we're very vertically integrated. I have the processing facilities, and I have the retail stores, and I have the trucking, and we pack it ourselves. So we have all these other entities that can make money along the way. And even as long as we only lose, no more than $2.5–3 million at the farm, we can still have an okay year. But if it starts to get worse than that, which now, if we're going to have to put in an extra, $12 to $15 million next year to grow the same crop that I'm already losing $2 or $3 million at, it just doesn't make sense. And
so we're going to lose domestic food production. I mean,
well, it's really, that's the scary part, is especially in Florida. So I brought some graphs with me. You can look, and this is just the graph that I just pulled down last night from the University of Florida shows how how Mexico is just taken over. I mean, when I in the 80s, this South Florida area, 80% of all of the fruits and vegetables that supplied the whole United States of America was out of the South Florida region. 80%, and 20% was Mexico, or maybe 15% was Mexico, and maybe 5% sprinkled around a few other countries. Now, our South Florida area only accounts for 10% of it. So we don't even create the markets anymore. If we get bad weather here, it doesn't hardly even change the markets, because Mexico is where all the product's coming from, and that's a farm security issue. I was in the bulletproof car with Pompeo a couple weeks ago. We were driving. It was just him and I, so I kind of was letting him, had time to let him understand what a national security threat that this is for us, because if Mexico decides to cut us off, then we don't have any of this fresh product. It's all coming from there now.
So if you like to eat, the details of farming and moving food from one place to another actually turned to be pretty interesting and a little concerning. You can see the entire conversation that we had with Alfie Oakes and Tucker Carlson today, Fox Nation, 7 a.m. tomorrow. So the Washington